Hello everyone, I'm Chris with Cali Moto TV. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to today's video. Obviously, we're talking about helmets. The X-Lite has served me well. It's been about 5 or 6 years. It was the X803. It's time to move on. We got an Alpinestars Supertech R10. We're gonna do an unboxing. We'll show you all the things that it comes with, and then a little quirk about it that might save you from breaking something, because there is a little nuance about changing the lenses. So let's go check out these helmets and say goodbye to the X-Lite. Move that over here out of the way and bring in the Supertech R10. Yes, this is the box it comes in. Let's open her up and see what is inside. Yeah, it's like Christmas morning. Oh yeah. This thing comes in a fantastic carrying bag. It's what you'd expect from a race helmet. Like a lot of pro drivers, they have these types of bags, and it's really cool that Alpinestars kind of followed suit with their motorcycle helmets and gave you this. So let's open it. Very nicely constructed bag. It's got this sweet, suede, soft interior. It's a quality bag. Let's get the helmet out of here. Oh yeah. What did we go with? This is the Team Blue helmet. It's carbon fiber and blue, this like fluoro red or whatever. They say it's red, but it's definitely more orange than anything, but I really like the color. I almost wish I still had it Aprilia, because they have a very similar color scheme to this on the R660 and the RC4 1100 factories. This color scheme would be perfect, but I dig it. I was contemplating between this, the gloss with the gray, and then there's a white orange. His dog just shook. There was a white and orange, and it's actually white, this color, fluoro red, and carbon fiber was gloss. So I was really considering that, but I really dig this flat, matte, if you want to call it, color scheme. All right, let's go over a little more of what's in the bag that comes with a helmet. So obviously I have the dark visor on there, already changed it out. You get a clear visor that it comes with initially. We'll actually get in a little bit of the video of how to install this, because it's not as straightforward as you might think. There is a very, very small nuance that if you don't pay attention, you'll break something. So, visor. It comes with the street spoiler, the race one. The race spoiler is on here already. Now, I won't demonstrate how to put that on because it is double-sided taped. So you need to take it off. There's a ton of clips, and then double-sided tape it again. But let's get this out of here and show you. This is the street spoiler. It is definitely smaller, a good bit smaller. It doesn't actually have the black accent on the back of it. It just kind of continues that purple, which is still pretty cool, or blue. I say blue, it's definitely purple. But it's a plastic piece. So that's the rear spoiler. Let's see, what else? It gives you a sweet pin lock. That's what this thing comes with, pin lock. So that's pretty awesome, straight out the gate. Comes with another one. Some pull strips, and then let's see what else we got in here. We got the under chin flap. And then you have the world's largest instruction manual on how to freaking use this helmet. I've never seen a booklet like this for a helmet. Like my Shoeis and stuff, they have a booklet. It's decently thick, but it is not this. This is massive. So if you don't know how to use a helmet, and to show you how to do the lens thing I'm going to talk about later, just go and do some light reading. All right, so that's all that comes with this awesome Supertech R10 helmet. It's a lot, honestly, to just kind of have as a helmet. Like when I got, the X-Lite, it was kind of a bag and a helmet, and that was really it. Alpinestars kind of went all out with this helmet. They really wanted it to stand out from the others, and part of that is the packaging that it comes with. Now, why did I go with the R10 as opposed to the X15? Now, or honestly another X-Lite or Nolan, whichever you want to call it. I bounce back and forth between a lot of them. I really like Shoeis. A lot of my helmets have been Shoeis. I still have the RF 1400, and that is a fantastic helmet. It is heavy though. And what I'm using this helmet for the most is track riding or street riding. I'm not gonna put a camera, comm system or anything on this helmet. I don't want it on this helmet. It's the Shoei's for. So I wanted something that was light. I am a sucker for carbon fiber, and Shoei does not have any helmets that have carbon fiber in them. It's frustrating. They're fantastic helmets, but I was gonna go with the Motegi 4, which is a Marc Marquez edition. It's the Japanese one. Absolutely love it. I've been a lot of time in Japan, so it just kind of resonated with me. And it's not laden with 93 and Marquez's name all over it. So I really love that. But every time I would go to order it or try to get it, it would be out of stock. So it was kind of tricky to get. So put this bad boy on order, and I was like, hey, we're gonna shoot for the moon and see what happens. One thing that really struck me about this helmet when I first got it was the lining. This has got to be one of the nicest linings in a helmet I've seen. And for a helmet that's around $1,200 or $1,300, the inside feels 100% like that. The X15 that I tried on, it was okay. It's typical Shoei. It's soft, but it is nothing like this. And another thing, I'm not a fan of AGV. It's just, they're just not my type. Another aspect I was looking at in a helmet was airflow. And the X-Lite unfortunately doesn't really flow that much air. And I felt like the newer version, from what I've read and just the fact that it's pretty much the same design, doesn't really flow that much. The X15 was very high on my list because one of the #1 responses from most people about that helmet was it flowed a ton of air and was still kind of quiet. Then you go to an AGV and okay, well that's even more expensive. It doesn't have, louvers and vents to open. It was just the pull-outs, and people said it flowed a lot of air, but also it was incredibly noisy because it's a track helmet. Okay, well those two things kind of spit me aside, but Alpinestars came out with this, and this vent right here, as it comes out the back right here, no joke, works. Now, my Shoei has vents up at top, and you can sort of feel the heat coming off the top of your head, but this thing, I closed it. Again, it's 100 degrees outside here in Arizona right now. I closed this, let my head get hot, didn't take long, and then popped it open. I felt a noticeable difference. It wasn't just like, oh, there's a nice little, no. It was a flow. I could feel the top of my head cooling off. I could feel the sweat kind of helping actually keep my head cool. Then you look at the vents on the front. As you open these, it flows a ton of air, and without that chin spoiler in there, there's a ton of air that flows up through here. Now, like the AGV, this little guy can pop out and have even more airflow. Kind of nice. This helmet just flows so much air that I can't imagine the X15 being that much better. The only feature about that helmet is it looked like it had cheek pads that allowed air to flow through them. Honestly, this feels like it does too, because you'll feel the warmth, the warmth on the side of your face. You'll feel warm cheeks, and then there'll be just a slight cooling. If you touch the pad, it'll be cool on the outside part, and then where your face is sitting is a little warm. So there is definitely some cooling going on in there. No helmet review is any good unless you put the thing on. So here we go, let's put it on. Oh yeah, snug. Yeah, the view out of here is actually one of the things that surprised me the most, aside from obviously the other things I mentioned. But most helmets, obviously, they have a good view playing out. My Shoei does, the X-Lite, but they all seem to come out right about here. And you can usually see the top brim of the helmet. The R10, it doesn't. You can't see this brim up here. It's completely clear. So when you put it down, it's awesome. And the visibility out of this, you almost feel like you can see more. You can go to the website, they claim a certain degree of angle of viewing. I don't remember what that is off the top of my head. I just know it feels like a lot. So we went over the airflow, visibility, the lightness. It's definitely lighter than a Shoei. I even feel it's a little lighter than the X-Lite. You can go look at the numbers, maybe I'm wrong, but it just feels that way. Now, let's go into a little bit of, I don't want to say negatives, but some things that people found that they didn't like. So one of the main things is the ear flaps, or the cutouts for the ears. People's ears would get caught in them and they would get ears irritated, alliteration aside, they would get folded down and be uncomfortable. I sort of noticed this, but if you put it on like I just did and kind of just flop your head to the side, ears will go up over the crease where the microphones, or not the microphones, where the speakers will go if you put a comm system in, because there is a cutout for it, and you'll be fine. Now, if you have big old ears, that might not be helpful to you. Someone I know, they commented and said to me that they put kind of like a piece of felt or leather or something over the ear hole, and not completely, just kind of flapped over. And what that did was allow them to put the helmet on flush without having their ears caught on that lip. So definitely an option. This helmet isn't that loud. Riding the V4R with this, I didn't find it any more noisy than what the X-Lite was. If not, if anything, it was actually a little nicer, a little quieter, and I found that interesting. I thought this would be a little more hardcore, close to the AGV, to the noise, but it honestly wasn't. And as I mentioned, the airflow, that doesn't mean that there's just a ton of wind noise. This is two different things, and this is almost as quiet as the R1400, R1400 Shoei. So I think Alpinestars did a fantastic job of kind of wrapping everything into one and making this just a full-on usable helmet, not just for the track. No helmet is perfect. Everyone has their flaws. This has a few flaws, but honestly, there's two things. One, and honestly, both of them are for the visor. This locking mechanism right here is a pain to open with a glove, because it locks in there and you're trying to push it, but like you push this bottom tab instead of actually pushing here. And granted, that could be muscle memory, but as you're fumbling for it, it's a hard push. It's not a light tab and just kind of pops open. It's not a tab like that where you can just lift up. It takes a little bit, and I wonder over time if this will wear to the point where it just kind of pops open and doesn't use, or maybe it's this tight for that reason. Promised, that is odd and difficult. The visor, again, both problems that I have with this helmet deal with the visor itself and the mechanisms involved. So, to release, there's a little tab right here. Try and do this backwards. There's a little tab right here that pushes forward, and the helmet comes, and the visor will release, okay? Now, when you put it back in, most helmets, there's this track right here. All helmets have a track, whether they're notched like that's irrelevant. But this helmet's important. You need to look in this track here, because there's a little orange arm that if you don't line up with this tab, see, there's a tab right here. It's a little longer than the other one. If you don't line that up, you can try to put the helmet on. What happens is you push that long tab on top of the orange arm. It'll push the arm all the way down. You'll think the helmet's seated, but as you try to close it, it gets stuck. And you can't close it. You're like, what in the world? This tab's in here is fine. Why is this not going in? That is the reason why. So you really need to line that up, and it's especially difficult with the tinted visor, because obviously it's dark and you can't see what the heck you're doing. I don't know if you can see this. We'll try to get the camera to focus on it, but right there is the orange tab, okay? If you close this helmet, this tab goes all the way down the bottom. You need to stick something in there to pull it all the way back up and line it up. This is a very important thing, because if you don't get it right, you will break the mechanism and the tabs to your visors, and I imagine these visors are not cheap. So as you can see, this helmet has one really annoying quirk about the lens, changing it out. Other than that, I absolutely love it. It's very light, it flows air. Something that I thought was pretty interesting, I always have a problem with my V4R going on highway speeds, because the vortex that's created from the stock mirrors and the double bubble, it just riles the crap out of my head. Going like, you know, highway speed 65, 70. This helmet, I don't actually have that issue. So it tells me already that the aerodynamics of this helmet are better than this and the Shoei. So it kind of speaks for itself that it's been tested and it really does work. It's almost like these little slats here help create stability with disturbed air. Anyways, Hope you all enjoyed this unboxing and walk around, talk around, spin around of the Alpinestars Supertech R10 helmet. This matte team blue is gorgeous. I quite dig it. If you're interested, or if you're in the area of Tucson, on any motos who I got this through, they waited like everyone else, but I finally got mine, and here we go. With that, I hope you all enjoyed this. Leave a comment down below, like the video, definitely subscribe. Let me know what you're riding. What helmet do you like? What helmet are you looking for in the future? Would you like to see more helmet reviews like this one? If so, reach out, let me know. Maybe I can get some brands to say, hey, here's a helmet. Or not, whatever. I give very honest reviews, so maybe they won't. I don't know. Anyways, you all have a wonderful day, and I'll see you on the next video.